Okay, this is my findings on JUnit here on Vogella.com by Lars Vogel. This is what I found. So he has a really good description here. Well, I guess so I think. He talks about the purpose of software tests and testing terminology. I don't think that really, well, I guess unit tests, he was saying. How unit is a piece of code written by a developer, and so the idea is that you test units. Like here he says a method or a class instead of testing an entire program and you make one change and the whole program fails. Instead, you'll just make changes to your class or your method that you're changing, and then you're able to test it as a unit. And so down here talks about how JUnit works testing in units. Here's an example of the code. As far as the exact syntax, apparently you have to say @.org, @org.junit.test annotation. We can get into that a little later though. So the idea is that you're testing this class alone. You're not testing it inside of some other program. You write this test, and then you're able to run the code separate, which you could just write another project, have a test project, and then run this code separate, which is usually what I would do, well, in my web-based languages. But here in Java, the idea is that we'll come down to these examples with the different types of annotations and assert statements. As you can see, the different annotations here identifies a method. Here it does, if the method does not throw the named exception, then it will fail. So you can see there's all these different test scenarios and test outcomes that'll occur instead of just, your code runs with the correct output or it fails. That's kind of what I usually do, and I'll drop in an alert here and there so I know where it failed. Pretty amateur programming, because I could be using this type of methodology to code where it uses, and then these assert statements we can see, same thing. You've got assert true message Boolean condition, so it checks to see if it's true. Here false, checks to see if it's false. Test the two values are the same, so it checks between the expected and actual value. For fails, it checks if the object's null. I mean, you have all sorts of outcomes that you can be testing for, which would be really nice to use. So that's what JUnit is. It's a great way to test units of your code, and then it's got all these different pre-built-in functions that you can utilize to test specific parts of your code. Oh, and I just wanted to say that here is apparently where JUnit is developed at the github.com/JUnit-team/JUnit. So here is where you can find all the source code and all the readmes on it. So yeah, that's what I found on JUnit.